بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, today we will resume with the chapter or one of the issues in the chapter of Tahara. As you know, we are going through a book called Akhsar Al-Mukhtasaraat في الفقه على مذهب الإمام أحمد بن حنبل of the author Muhammad Badr al-Din ibn Balban rahimahullah, passed away in year 1083 of the Hijrah. And we mention and we keep repeating that and we keep reminding that the reason why we talk about Tahara, actually it is one of the big portion the beginning of the book of Fiqh, is because without it, without Tahara, your Salah will not be accepted. And we have mentioned evidences for that. And that is why the book of Tahara is quite a big portion of the chapter in the book of Fiqh. And we have mentioned, alhamdulillah, we're almost through the end of it. And the last chapter we mentioned was how to perform at-tayammum, how to perform the dry ablution. And today, inshallah, we'll be starting with a new issue, and that is the issue of how to clean impurity. So impurity in Arabic, what's impurity? What is the word that will keep recurring coming? An-najasa. In Arabic, the Arabic word for impurity is an-najasa. Every time you hear the word najis, najas, an-najasa, it means impurity. What is a najasa? Najasa is what Ash-Shara, what the Islamic legislation has made something impure that will prevent us from praying, from performing some of the act of the worship. And this impurity could be in the state, in your state. When you're in the state of impurity, it's not called najasa. What is it called? Hadath. So a person can be muhdith. So don't call a Muslim najas or you are najas. Astaghfirullah. We can't say that. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن المؤمن أو إن المسلم لا ينجس. The believer or the Muslim cannot become impure. But you can call a Muslim muhdith. Muhdith means he's not in the state of wudu. He needs wudu. Najasa is more of a physical impurity. However, there's a type of people that are called najas, and Allah mentioned in the Quran. The disbelievers. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما المشركون نجس فلا يقربوا المسجد الحرام بعد عامهم. The scholars, they say, they're not impure physically speaking. They may not be impure because you can't touch them. Because if they're impure, that means if you touch them, you have to wash. No. They are impure spiritually speaking. Tamam? And that is why it's important that we seek to purify ourselves. It doesn't have to be from the disbelievers. Even from the believers, we have to purify ourselves. We have to purify because it is possible that we commit sins. And the more sins you commit, the closer you are to the spiritual impurity, I mean to the complete spiritual impurity. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. That is kufr. But the more you seek forgiveness from Allah, the more Allah Azza wa Jal will wash your sins away and therefore will purify your soul. So today we talk about the physical impurity and how to wash them. Okay, now when we talk about physical impurity, obviously the impure things we'll mention later, there are 6 or 7. Those 7 impure things can never be purified. Let's say if you see a bucket of wee, and you put water in there, can water purify the wee? The al-ayn, al-najasa al-ayniyya, the physical impurity can never be purified. It stays impure forever. But here what we talk about is najasa hukmiyya, meaning is najasa if it touches a part of your body, if it touches a part of your clothes, if it touches a part of your area. Why these 3 things? Because these are the 3 things that we need to be careful when it comes to, when you prepare for salah. Your body needs to be pure. Your physical body need to be pure, mean away from any impurity. Your clothes need to be pure, mean that is away from any impurity. We mentioned those 6 or 7 things that are impure. And the place in which you're praying must be pure. You can't pray in a place where you know that you find some impurity in there. No, you've got to pray somewhere else. Tamam? This is what I mean. How to wash these 3 things. If you have impurity on your body, how to wash it. If you have impurity on your clothes, how to wash it or how to remove it. If you have filth and impurity on the ground, how to remove it. This is what we'll be talking about today. So now, as a principle, we go as a principle, just have an overview or a map so that it will be easy for you to remember. In the Madhab Hanbali, there are 4 ways to wash impurity. There are 4 ways. We start with the most severe one, meaning the most severe one or the most strict one. The strict one is to wash 7 times with a bit of turab. Turab means ground or sand or anything that is equivalent, such as soap, washing powder. That's the strictest one. That's the highest one. The one lower is to wash in our madhab, in the madhab Hanbali, to wash 7 times. So first one, 7 times with what? With ground, sand, soap, with something physical, washing powder. The second one, 7 times only. Third one, 1 time, pour water once. And these 3 are washing, and I'll explain to you what the word washing means. And the 4th one is to spray water and to soak the place with water. To soak the place with water, but don't wash it. And I'll explain what's different between washing in Arabic and spray or sprinkle water and soak water. What's washing in Arabic? Ghasl. Aywa, ghasl. Now, sprinkling or soaking water in Arabic is called al-ghamr. Ghamrun, you will mention, or al-nadh, or al-rash. There are 3 words. When you go to the book of Fiqh, you find these 3 words. These 3 words mean, literally speaking, it means spray. But when you go back to the books of the Salaf, it doesn't mean just spraying and that's it. It means to soak the place with water. I say, but hold on, what about washing? Washing is soak the place with water and ensure that the water, what's the word? Spill. And if there's a spilling, water is flowing. So washing is the flow of the water. Is this clear? So let's say if I put water in here and there's no spilling, there's no flowing of the water, is this washing? No. This is a nadah. This is soaking. Is this clear? It doesn't mean spray, because unfortunately a lot of brothers, they think that spray, you just spray it and that's enough. No, what is meant by a rush or nadah or ghamr is to soak the place with water. Soaking means make sure it's wet. Now, does it have to, drop water? It doesn't have to. As for washing, is to soak the place with water and ensure that the water is flowing. I mean, basically using a lot of water. Is this clear? Ghasl and nadah. Tamam? And now there's a 5th one, and we've covered that. And that is, I want you to remember, guys, remember, brothers, in our madhab, the only thing that can remove filth is water. Remember this is a principle, because this will get you to understand better why we have a lot of issues where the madhab say you have to wash it. You have to wash it. This is a qaida, because Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا, and we have revealed from the heaven a purifying water. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He also say, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ. And from the hadith hadith Abi Hurairah, where a man read in the Masjid, Prophet said, bring a bucket of water and pour it. So water is purifying. Is this clear? Is there any other thing that purifies in our madhab? No. Nothing else purifies except water. And by the way, this is the three madhab. Except for the Hanafi, they say no other thing can purify. However, there's only on one occasion you can purify, meaning by purify, you can remove filth with something solid, not water. And we mentioned that. In what chapter did we mention? Remove filth. Now, tayammum. Is tayammum removing filth, removing najasa? It's good that he mentioned tayammum. Tayammum is something solid, yes, but it doesn't remove. Does that make sense? Let's say I have some, yani akramakumullah, I have some, stool in there. Can I remove with something solid? That's the issue. Let's say I have ween here. Can I remove with something solid? I get, example, washing powder and remove it. That's the issue now. Is this clear? There's one topic where we say it can be, the filth can be removed with something solid. Not istinja, istijmar. What is istijmar again? You use rocks or pebbles or anything solid, paper, toilet paper, from the area, from the private part. That's the only thing you can do it. And this is agreed upon, by the way. If you go to the toilet, akramakumullah, do you have to use water? Do you have to? No, you don't have to. Although it's best, but you can use toilet paper. And we mentioned that. Go back to the, I think, second or third lesson, how to do it, how to remove, we mentioned that. Apart from this, apart from istijmar, in our madhab, do we have anything that can remove filth other than water? In the madhab, no. Okay? I want you to remember that. That's your qaida. Remember this. You need water to remove filth. Now, the discussion or the debate, leave it for the next book. When we go to Kitab al-Zad, we'll mention there are a few things where there's controversy, there's khilaf between the scholars. Example, if you walk, step on an impurity, how to remove that impurity from under your feet. Or example, if a woman, sister has a long jilbab, and how to remove this. This is a matter of difference of opinion, but in our madhab, in the madhab, and this is the mu'tamad, meaning this is what's been relied upon, you need water, no matter what. Remember this principle because you will understand later why. Tamam? Now let's go through the fasl, the issue of the chapter. قال المؤلف رحمه الله فصل تطهر أرض ونحوها بإزالة عين النجاسة وأثرها بالماء. So he said that the earth or its equivalent can only be purified with water. And what we mean by purify with water, that the physical impurity must be removed and its traces. The trace must be removed. What are the traces of something impure? There are three traces that can be left behind. The taste, the smell, and the color. So you ensure, let's say we have some akramakumullah, some stool in there. When you want to remove with water, you ensure that there's no trace in there. What we mean by no trace, you see no color, you see no smell, you smell no smell, and obviously there's no taste. You're not going to taste it, but this is what they say. Tamam? We'll come to that, don't worry. I know you have a question, it will be answered now, inshallah. Tamam? So now he's mentioning how to remove it with water. And the way he's saying now, he said that the only way to remove with water is by pouring once. So this is this third degree. So you remove water, you remove impurity by pouring water once until the traces goes. And when is that? It is only when the impurity is on the ground, or it's like mean on the wall, on the ground. It has to be on the ground outside. Carpet is not considered as ground because if you move with water, there are traces left. It has to be on the ground. Is this clear? Let's say you have no other place to pray but here, and you know that some dog weed on there. Example, you have no other place to pray. That's the only place for you to pray. What do you do? And you see some impurity there. What do you do? Pour water and make sure that this impurity is gone and there's no trace behind. How many times do you have to pour? Minimum once. Now you pour once, it doesn't go away. What do you do? Pour a second time, third time, and so on. Is this clear? So when do you remove impurity? Once, when, and where? If it's on the ground. What I mean by on the ground is ground, not like on the floor as in on the carpet, because carpet is considered as clothes. The stain will stay behind. Or something similar. Nahwuha means something similar like the wall or. This clear? Naam. That's the first thing. Now, he's going to move on to the next type of purifying, and that is the lesser degree. وَبَوْلُ غُلَامٍ لَمْ يَأْكُلْ طَعَامًا بِشَهْوَةٍ وَقَيْءُهُ بِغَمْرِهِ بِهِ. Now, that's the second type. Second type is the thing that we mentioned in Arabic, ghamr, al-nadh, al-rash. What are these three words mean in English? We say that a lot of people, they say spray, but it's not only spray, it's to spray until you ensure what? That is soaked. You spray 1, 2, 3, until you ensure that it's soaked. And when does that happen? Only on one occasion in the madhab. And that is when a young baby, vomits, a young infant. But on the condition that that young infant is still breastfed. That's the condition. Or is being fed, but not desirously. La yashtahi ta'aman. Remember, he's not on the age where he loves eating food. He's just being fed food, but it's not something that he loves. Generally under 6 months old. And now I know there's a lot of questions, but why a boy? Why not a girl? These are differences of opinion, but Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, although look at the stage and the level of knowledge he has, he said that I do not know, and he said that this is amrun tahabbudi. This is something that is divine. That Allah said that the boy, Allah told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the boy should be basically, if he wee on a place or on his clothes and everything, and you just soak it. You don't need to wash it. And the dalil of that, there is a couple of dalil. Hadith Qais ibn Mihsan radiallahu anha. She had a boy and then she gave it to Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam held him and then he weed on his clothes. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, get me water and you just, pour a bit of water. That's it. He soaked the area. That's it. He soaked the place where the wee touched him. Tamam? Naam. So that's the second degree. Now, it says, وَغَيْرُهُمَا, and other than these two, to wash 7 times. So any impurity in the madhab is to be washed 7 times. That's the madhab. Because Imam Ahmad go with the principle of you have to be precautious. If you study the principle of each madhab, you will understand why he goes with this argument. You have to be precautious 7 times. And he has a dalil. One of the dalil is hadith Ibn Omar radiallahu anha, radiallahu anhuma. But the thing is, there's a difference of opinion whether it's authentic or not. But Imam Ahmad and his student, they say that as long as it is a common practice, it should be used as evidence. Ibn Umar has said that our norm to wash and remove filth is 7 times. اكتب عند, right next to 7 غسلات وعنه. What does وعنه mean? There's another opinion of Imam Ahmad. وعنه 3 غسلات, 3 times. وعنه, there's also a third opinion of Imam Ahmad, غسلة واحدة, 1 time. As for the 1 time, what's the evidence for the 1 time? The evidence that we just mentioned about the, weed on the floor. When the Prophet ﷺ saw a man weed in his masjid. And by the way, the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ was not carpeted, it was the ground. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say? He said, just let him finish. And then he said, bring a bucket of water and pour it over. That's 1 time. As for the 3 times, where is the dalil? Something that we covered in Bab al-Wudu. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not start wudu when you wake up from sleep. Do not start wudu until you wash 3 times. Say, because you don't know where you put your hand. So this is the evidence that Imam Ahmad used. He said that it can be used for other things. Tamam? But the principle, like Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, and this is the correct opinion, is that you wash it until you see no traces left. And generally, after one time, let's say you have some trace, you do one time. Do you think generally it goes after one time? Well, it takes a bit of time, maybe second time, maybe third time, maybe fourth time, until the impurity goes. Is this clear? That's the third thing. Now the fourth thing, and that is the strictest and the highest in severe, the most severe in terms of impurity, he said, أَحَدُهَا بِتُرَابٍ وَنَحْوِهِ. Now 7 times with some turab. Turab means sand or soil. وَنَحْوِهَا. وَنَحْوِهَا means other than this. Washing powder, comfort, soap, whatever you use. Tamam? That's for 2 things. في نجاسة كلب, for the dog. If a dog touches, in the madhab, if the dog touches your clothes, it may be his hair, it may be his sweat, it may be his saliva. It doesn't have to be his saliva. Even his hair, that's in the madhab. You have to wash it 7 times. This clear? And with soap. Tamam? That's in the madhab, but we're not going to go in details. Tamam? وَخِنْزِيرٍ فَقط. Khinzir means pig. That's in the madhab as well. Now, what's the evidence of Imam Ahmad that khinzir is 7 times? The Prophet ﷺ, in the evidence, in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was collected by Muslim, Imam Ahmad, Imam Bukhari. It's about the dog. If the dog eats from the إِذَا وَلَغَ الْكَلْبُ فِي إِنَاءِ أَحَدِكُمْ, if the dog eat from the bowl of one of your bowl, then wash it 7 times, once with soap. Prophet ﷺ only mentioned dog, he didn't mention pig. Imam Ahmad said pig is higher in impurity than dog. So this is the argument of Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu. Tamam? So if a pig touches you, or you have to wash your area or 7 times with soap. Tamam? Is this clear? These are the 4 things. And then now we're going to move on to a different issue. وَلَا يَضُرُّ بَقَاءُ لَوْلٍ أَوْ رِيعٍ أَوْ هُمَا عَجْزًا. Meaning that, let's say you wash many times, but its traces still stay there. You've tried your best. Let's say you've tried your best, but there's still some trace, some color of stool. Akramakumullah. Wash many times, 7 times. Now, let's say you wash the maximum 7 times, but there's still some color there. Will that harm you? It won't harm you, because you've tried. We're not talking about pouring once and say, but I pour once and there's still. No, you've got to try it. That's why I say ajzan, meaning you've tried your best. And what's the dalil of that? The dalil of that is hadith Abu Hurairah and Khawlat bint Yasar. It's to do with when she was menstruating, and she said, Ya Rasulullah, I menstruate a lot, meaning I bleed a lot when I menstruate. And I only have 1 clothes to pray with. So what should I do with the clothes that has been affected by the blood? Because we'll mention later that bleeding is one of the impure things. We'll mention later, inshallah. And he said that, wash it. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, but sometimes there are some traces left. Say, يَكْفِيكِ الْمَاءِ, it is enough. وَلَا يَضُرُّكِ أَثَرُهُ. And its traces, what's left behind, its traces, the color, will not harm you. وَلَا يَضُرُّكِ أَثَرُهُ. أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. It is clear now. These are the 4 things to wash. Now you have some wee in here. You say, I want to use washing powder. Is this enough? Is this good? La. What do you need? Water. You step on a dog's stool in our madhab, and you go on a green and you try to remove it, and you pray with them. Is this enough in our madhab? No. What do you do? Water 7 times. And this is an issue of difference, by the way. That's why I mentioned next book, when we'll study next book, he's mentioned the khilaf. But let's go with the tamam. It is clear the washing, this is the only thing that can be removed. with water. Remember that. Apart from one issue, when you go to the toilet, akramakumullah, and you want to purify after yourself, you want to relieve yourself and purify after yourself, you can use this solid, which is paper and so on, toilet paper. Now we move on to another thing, to another issue, which is وَتَطْهُرُ خَمْرَةٌ إِنْ قَلَبَتْ بِنَفْسِهَا خَلًّا وَكَذَا دَنُّهَا لَا دُهْنٌ وَمُتَشَرِّبٌ النَّجَاسَةِ. Now he's moving on to the khamr. He's saying that khamr, what is khamr? Wine or alcohol. Wine or alcohol in our madhab, by the way, in the four madhab, is impure. Wine or alcohol is impure. So if you have wine touching your thing, you've got to wash it how many times for the wine? 7 times. Remember, the madhab is 7 times. But sometimes just one drop of wine, you can wash it 1 time and that's it. But in our madhab, 7 times. But ala kulli hal, yani. He said that wine can become pure. How can wine become pure? If it's left and is fermented and transformed into vinegar. And this is called in Arabic al-istihala. Istihala means process of transformation. Istihala. Tamam? Process of transformation. Let's say you have wheat on the ground and with the heat, it's so hot, sometimes it disappears, right? In our madhab, is this process of disappearing enough for the wheat? In our madhab, it's not enough. The only thing that can be accepted, that it purifies by process of transformation, is wine. Again, as I said, it's a matter of difference of opinion. Tamam, we go with the book. We're not going to... Tamam, is this clear? No. But on the condition that this wine or this vinegar, this wine turn into vinegar by itself, without treatment, binafsiha, by itself. And the dalil of that is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, ni'ma al-idam al-khal, mean the best condiment, is that how we call it? The best condiment? Yeah? The best condiment in the house is vinegar. And the Prophet ﷺ used to eat vinegar, alayhi salatu wassalam. Tamam? He said the best condiment. If he said the best condiment, he liked it, that means it's pure. Do you think our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would eat something impure? No, he eats something pure. Is this clear? Now, if you treat it and you turn from wine to vinegar, Jama'ah, like most of the wine here, most of the vinegar here, in the madhab with the Shafi'i, it says, not allowed. You're not allowed to buy these vinegars unless the vinegar, they just turn on their own. But the Hanafi and Maliki, they say it's fine. So perhaps, you want to go with the easiest pass, go with the easiest. And the dalil, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Hadith Anas, أَيُتَّخَذُ الْخَمْرُ خَلًّا, can we use wine and turn it into vinegar? Can we process it? Can you treat it and turn it into vinegar? He said, لا يُتَّخَذُ الْخَمْرُ خَلًّا. He said, no. Tamam? That's the evidence of the Hanabila. وَكَذَا دَنُّهَا. Dannuha means something that holds the wine. Let's say you have a barrel and then you leave it there under the sun for months. And then that barrel, the whole thing turns into vinegar. If the vinegar itself, we say, is pure by process of transformation, what about the barrel then? It's pure. Let's say you want to use all that vinegar. You want to put the vinegar into a different barrel or into a different place. And you want to use that barrel. Can you use it, put water in it, and do wudu from it? Yes, it's fine. Is this clear? Dannuha means something that holds it. Dannuha means a bowl, barrel. لا دهن ومتشرب النجاسة. It says not, however, the duhun is oil and grease. It says لا دهن ومتشرب نجاسة, and the thing that has not the oil that absorbed filth, the oil that, or the grease that absorbed filth. Example that in that duhun, in a bowl, something fell into it, something impure. Does it become pure by process of transformation with time? It doesn't. Only wine. Is this clear? نعم. This is what they mention. نعم. And it's كالعجين والحب, also paste and dough. Let's say you have dough mixed with wine. Just an example. And then you leave the dough. You leave it. You say, no, that one, no. Tamam? Or example, you have animal fat. You have animal fat that is not halal animal. You leave the animal fat. And then you say, but, it takes time. And then after a number of months, it just becomes pure by process of, I'm not sure how they call it, istihala, process of transformation or istihala. That's the word they use. Istihala meaning transform from one state to another. Tamam? This is clear. He's trying to say that only wine can become pure on the condition that it transforms by itself without being treated. Now we're mentioning the exceptions. وعفي في غير مائع ومطعوم عن يسير دم نجس ونحوه من حيوان طاهر لا دم سبيل إلا من حيض وما لا نفس له سائلة وقمل وبراغيث وبعوض ونحوها طاهر مطلقا. Now you're going to mention the things that are impure. It said that and it's excused, so a small amount of filthy blood is excused. Example, if you have a nosebleed and it touches your clothes, is it excused? Is it fine? Yes, it's excused. I mean, it can be overlooked. So from the statement of the Mu'allif, rahimahullah, is saying that the blood is impure. The blood is impure, but on the condition it has to be a lot of blood, flowing blood. Something, you cut and something pouring blood. This is impure. Even from a human, except one type of blood. Except a blood from one person. Martyr. The blood of a martyr is pure. Tamam? Naam. As for other than a martyr, then it's not pure. So let's say you're pouring blood and your clothes is soaked with blood. Can you pray with it? You can't pray with it. This is the madhab. However, if you have nosebleed and a few drops here and there, can you pray with it without washing it? Yes, he said it's excused, it's fine. It can be overlooked. Tamam? And he said that on the condition it has to come from a hayawan tahir, from a pure living, from a pure animal. And hayawan, by the way, can mean being, can mean creation, creature. Tamam? And what is hayawan tahir? The hayawan tahir is human. Human is pure, yani. And any animal that is halal to eat. Any animal that's halal to eat is their blood is pure if you have some blood coming into your clothes. Tamam? I mean, let me recap. We say that blood is impure. That's clear? But for the condition, for the little blood that touches your clothes, that you overlook it, you don't need to wash, we say the blood is impure. But the condition for the blood, يعفى عنه meaning it is excused. I mean, you don't have to wash it. The condition is that it has to come from pure creation. Blood is impure, but it has to come from pure creation. Such as what? Such as the halal animal. Let's say if you slaughter a sheep or cow or chicken, and then some of the blood go to your clothes, a bit, what happened to it? Is it excused or do you have to wash it? It's excused. But let's say you see a dog or a pig, and some of the blood went to you. You've been hit by a car, and some of the blood went to you. Just a drop of blood went to you, went to your clothes. Is it excused? Why not? Because the animal itself is not pure. This is what is meant by a pure creation. تمام؟ نعم. لا دم سبيل إلا من حيض. However, the blood coming from the private part, if it touches the clothes, even if it's a little bit, it's not excused or overlooked. Let's say somebody has hemorrhoid, or مثلا a man, he's got blood and the blood comes out from the private part. I mention a man because we'll mention later what about the women, that's a different story. In our madhab, if that little blood touch the private part, the pants, then you have to wash that part. You have to wash it. But he said, except for the hayd. ما معنى الحيض? Menstruating blood. Why? Because menstruating blood is something that occurs all the time. In every month it occurs. And it occurs for 7 days. And the women bleed a lot. So if some of the blood touches, then in our madhab, it can be overlooked. What is the dalil? The dalil is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told one of the women, Asma bint Abi Hubaysh, he said that, tahuttuhi, just rub it. He said, I have some traces left. He said, tahuttuhi, just tahutti, just rub it. Now the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about rubbing, he said, rub it. So what did the scholars say that it can be overlooked? Prophet said to that lady, remove it by rubbing it. She said, I still got some traces left. She said, remove it by rubbing it. Aywa. Remember the principle we said earlier? What is the principle to remove the filth? By washing. Did he say go back and wash it again? No, I say remove it by rubbing it. And I'm always go back to the principle. This is how you understand why it can be overlooked. Tamam? Naam. And he said he's going to talk about some of the animals that also can be excused if some blood goes into your clothes or into your water, into your clothes. And he said that وَمَا لَا نَفْسَ لَهُ سَائِلًا. Nafs means مَا لَا دَمَ, the insect that have no blood, the insect that don't have flowing blood. And he mentioned like camel, which is lice, baraghith, fleas, or mosquitoes, or any flies. Tamam? He says طاهرة مطلقة, because they are pure, unconditionally, without condition. But the scholars, they have criticized this word. You see, unconditionally is wrong, because we have two types of insect. We have insect that comes out from pure things. This is fine, it's pure, yes. But sometimes you have animals that are born from a dead corpse, that are born from a carcass, that are born from akramakumullah, from the dung and filth and stools and everything. These insects, are they pure? No, they come out from the impure, so they're not pure. Why he said that when he says all the insects unconditionally are pure, no, this is not always true. The two conditions is that they have to be insects that don't have flowing blood, like he mentioned some of the insects. And the second condition is that they don't come out they're not born of impure things. They're not born of impure things. And now, these impurity that we just mentioned, can be overlooked if it's a little, on the condition that they do not fall into a liquid. That's the first condition. And the second condition, into food. So let's say if you have a bit of nosebleed fall into a bucket of water, what's happening in our madhab? Can you use this water to do wudu? No. In our madhab, you can't use this water. You have to remove the water and use a purifying water. Food, مثلا, if you have a nosebleed and it falls into a shorba, into a soup, can you eat that soup? In our madhab, you can't eat that soup. I mean, it's impure. This is what the madhab said. Tamam? But if you fall into something solid, like if you fall into your clothes, can you pray with it? You can pray with it, because it can be overlooked. Tamam? And how do you know now what is little and what is big? Because he said a little bit of blood. How do you know that? Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said, ma la yustafhash, meaning that it is not seen as disgusting. If somebody has a lot of nosebleed, but this nosebleed, you see it as just normal. It's not disgusting. It's not something like you feel like, oh, I have a lot of blood. Tamam? And by the way, when he says وَنَحْوُهُ, next to it, he said, and it's equal, it's equivalent. Just put it down, vomiting. If you have a bit of vomit left here and there, let's say you have a bit of vomit, you vomited, you have a bit of vomiting drop here and there, can it be overlooked? Yes, it can. Tamam? But if you vomit in that place and you feel like, oh, that's a lot, istafhash. Istafhash means you feel like disgusted by it, then no, you've got to wash it. You can't overlook, you've got to wash it. And then now he's mentioning, so we mentioned so far, blood is impure. Tamam? The second thing that he's going to mention that is impure, وَمَائِعٌ مُسْكِرٍ. That's the second thing. Any intoxicant liquid, any liquid that intoxicates you, that's impure. Wine impure, beer impure, vodka, anything impure. All of that intoxicate is impure. That's the second thing. The third thing, وَمَا لَا يُؤْكَلُ مِنْ طَيْرٍ وَبَهَائِمَ مِمَّا فَوْقَ الْهِرَّةِ خِلْقًا. That's the third thing. All the animals that are not halal to eat, that are not halal to slaughter and eat. From the animals, from the baha'im. Baha'im mean the animal that walk on four legs, or tayr. Tayr mean birds. Tamam? So in our madhab, all the animals that are bigger than a cat, they say that it has to be bigger than a cat. That are bigger than a cat, that is not pet animal, bigger than a cat, and you're not allowed to eat it, then their hair is impure. Their saliva is impure. Their blood is impure. Their milk is impure. Is this clear? So what are the animals that are halal then? Halal to eat and pure. As for halal to eat, cow, sheep, what about horse? I mean, our madhab, horse is halal to eat. So if it's halal to eat, therefore it's pure. What about donkey? Is it halal to eat donkey? Donkey is haram to eat. So in our madhab, if it's haram to eat, therefore it's impure. So if you touch a donkey, and this is a matter of difference. Imam Ahmad says it's impure, by the way. Imam Ahmad says it's impure. But Ibn Taymiyyah, everything is here. How can it be impure? He rode himself on it, alayhi salatu wasalam, on a mule. على كل حال يعني مسألة, we're not going to go into it. نعم. Now, what about the cat and a small pet, hamster, everything? Are they halal to eat? Are they pure? They're not halal to eat, but are they pure? Why? Because they're smaller in size. They're smaller than what? Than cat. What's the dalil of Imam Ahmad of cat? Prophet ﷺ, when he was asked about the cat going around houses, and he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّهُنَّ طَوَّافُونَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَالطَّوَّافَاتِ. They are pets. They're going around your houses. And also about some of the fa'r, some of the mice that go around houses. Prophet ﷺ did not say, some of the Sahaba, unless you see that in a bowl or something that the mice actually have droppings. If they have droppings, no. Droppings, everything that come from cat, that come from, you have to remove it. It's impure. Their droppings are impure. But we're talking about example, if they go and eat or they drink from your bowl, this is Tamam? As long as you don't see any dropping. So this is the fourth thing, sorry. So blood, intoxicant, meaning liquid, the animals. Now I say the fourth thing, وَلَبَنٌ وَمَنِيٌّ مِّنْ غَيْرِ آدَمِ, and any milk and any semen, sperm that is not coming from Adami, that is not coming from a human. This is impure, meaning from those animals, of course. So we mentioned earlier, the milk coming from those animals are impure. What about the sperm? Impure as well. But he said, except for the sperm of a man. How is that possible that a sperm of a man is pure? Aisha radiallahu anha said, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would wake up and he would be in the state of janaba, he would take a shower and he would pray with the same clothes that I would rub it. And he says, I do see sometimes the traces left, and he prayed with these clothes. Aisha, she rubbed it. She took it away. So it must be impure. So is the sperm impure? The sperm coming from man? But Aisha, she rubbed it, radiallahu anha. She didn't wash. So the rule, what did we say? Remember the rule. As long as it's not washed, that means it's not impure. Because had it been impure, Prophet ﷺ would have said to Aisha, wash it. Like he said to some of the women who came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, I still have some of my menstruating blood around my, He said, wash them and rub them with water. Sallallahu alayhi wa rub it with water and wash it. And then he said, as for the leftover, the traces, he said, just let it go. لا يضرك أثره. وبول وروث ونحوها من غير مأكول اللحم نجسة. And he mentioned, of course, the wee and the excrement, the stool of the animal that are haram to eat, they are impure. So the sperm, the milk, the wee, urine, and the excrement of the haram, of the animal that are haram to eat, they are impure. This clear? What about the urine and the stool of men or women? Is it pure or impure? Impure. Now the urine and the stools of the halal animals, halal to eat, sheep, camel, cow, is it impure? It's not impure. You may be disgusted, that's fine, but if it touches your area, it's not impure. What's the dalil of that? The dalil of that, the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed to pray in a farm full of sheep and cow and camel. He allowed to pray. Except for camel. He said, no, don't pray there because shaitan roams around there. As for the stools, do you think the farm you find no stool there? No, that's fine. And nowadays we use the stool of the cow to use it for the plant and for the tamam. So this is what he is trying to say. What is the dalil that the urine and the stools of the halal animals are pure? قصة العرانيين in Sahih Bukhari Muslim. When a tribe from Uran, Urayna, came to Rasulullah, said, Ya Rasulullah, we are homesick and our skins are going through changes. And he said, go to such and such farm and drink from the urine of the camel and from its milk. And they drank it for 2-3 weeks and they got cured. And what they did, instead of being grateful to this farmer, they killed the farmer and they mutilated him. And the Prophet ﷺ, he commanded the companion to basically to establish the qisas. So this story goes that the urine of the camel is pure. وَمِنْهُ طَاهِرَةٌ. Now he's trying to say here, he said, however, the sperm of, now you're talking about the sperm of these halal animals is pure. Meaning, let's say you're a farmer and you want to, مثلا, you find some of the sperm on the floor and you step on it. Can you pray with these shoes on? Talking about the halal, halal farm, sheep, cow. Yes, you can pray with it. Okay, let's recap. Human, urine and stool of human, pure, impure. The sperm, pure, impure. The sperm, pure. Now, before the sperm, there's a liquid called pre-ejaculation liquid, meaning when somebody is aroused, it emits some discharge. Sperm, you know how it is, it will thrush. I mean, you have to act. But, sometimes when somebody is aroused, there's some liquid coming out. It's called in Arabic, medi. Sperm, many with a noon. Medi, pure, impure. Impure. Ali ibn Abi Talib, he said, Kuntu rajulan madda, and I was a man who was easily aroused. And I emit a lot of things. Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, but I was too shy to ask Rasulullah, لِمَكَانَةِ ibnatihi, because of his daughter being my wife. I'm not going to ask Rasulullah, because, he's my father-in-law. So I sent my servant, Miqdad ibn al-Aswad, and he says, and he used to take a shower every time. Every time he was aroused, take a shower. And he said, Kuntu ashuq, meaning I found it difficult. I used to take a shower 2-3 times a day. And the Prophet ﷺ smiled. He said, no, it is sufficient for him to wash the private part and the area, to wash. He said, wash it. And then do wudu again. Tamam? كَمِمَّا لَا دَمَ لَهُ سَائِلٌ. And he said, it is similar, this sperm is similar to insect that has no blood. ويعفى عن يسير طين شارع عن يسير طين شارع عرفا إن علمت نجاسته وإلا فطار. He said that if you know a road that they put a new cement, but that cement, if you know that they mix a bit of it with najasa, a bit, not a lot, but a bit, then whatever that they cemented is pure. It's fine. And the condition that you know. But if you don't know, you're not sure, like nowadays, we don't know whether the workers, they re on those cement. Allahu alam, we don't know. We don't know. And then now you might say, oh, I don't want to put it outside, because maybe, some of the workers might re on it before it became, cemented. No, you can't do that because you don't know. So it's pure. Then al-asla fil ashya al-ibaha wa tahara, because the principle of the thing is that it is halal and it is pure, unless you have the proof of contrary. Tamam? And this is to do with the impurity and how to wash them. So those are the 6 things. The 6th thing is the blood. Blood, no matter where it comes from, is impure, except for the things that we mentioned, it can be overlooked. The 2nd thing is the intoxicant liquid. The 3rd thing is the animals that are not halal to eat. They are impure, except for smaller animals, small in size. The 4th thing is the laban, mean the milk coming from the haram animal. The 5th thing is the many sperm coming from haram animal. Now, the milk coming from human, is it pure or impure? Of course it's pure. The baby are drinking from it. The sperm coming from a man, pure or impure? In our madhab and Shafi'i is pure. Meaning, what does that mean, pure? It means, let's say you have some left. You didn't know, you prayed, and then you realize, subhanAllah, I still have some traces of sperm there. It's possible, it can happen. It can happen. Do you have to break your salah or repeat your salah? No. This is what it means. Is this clear? Naam. And then it says, and urine and feces of the men and the haram animal. Tamam? These are the 6 or 7 things that are impure. Tamam? If those 6 or 7 things touches your clothes or on the ground, what do you have to do? You you have to wash. Let's, inshallah, wrap it up. How to wash the things, how to wash the impurity. What are the level of washing? 7 times with water. That's generally. In our madhab, it's like that. I mean, wash as much as you can. Wash the maximum we wash 7 times, no more than that. If you wash 7 times and the traces are still there, what do you have to do? 8th time, 9th time? You have to do that? No, that's sufficient. Tamam? The second one, yalla, next one. From the brothers. Sprinkle. But when we say sprinkle or spray, what does that mean? Just one is enough? Until what? Until it's soaked. When do you do that? Only on one occasion. On a baby. When a baby, which infant? The boy. As for the girl, no. The girl, you have to wash it. In a hadith, Sahl ibn Hanif, hadith, Abu Samah. Abu Samah, he only mentioned one hadith. Hadith Abu Samah, he was Mawla Rasulullah. He was a free slave from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He mentioned that, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, yurashu, it should be sprayed and soaked min bawli al-ghulam, from the urine of the boy, wa yughsalu min bawli al-jariya. As for the urine of the girl, infant girl, should be washed. The next one, next type of washing, let's finish it up quickly. Abdurrahman. 7 times with soap, with soap or something, or ground or washing powder, and that is with what? 2 things: dog and the pig. Doesn't have to be saliva, even their hair, even their. This is the madhab, by the way. So we're just gonna, and the last one, washing 1 time with what? With water on the ground, not carpet, ground or wall. And the 5th thing, washing with something solid, or removing filth with something solid. Istijmar, when you go to your toilet. When you go to your toilet, you're allowed to remove with toilet roll. You don't have to use water. You don't have to. Of course, it's better to use, but you don't have to. It is clear those 5 things, how to remove filth. And inshallah, we'll end the lesson here. We'll take a couple of questions. Again,